In 5, 4, 3. Oh, we are tWoTcast, episode 305. I think. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. It's 300. It's 305.
All right, everyone, shut the f*** up.
Wheel of Time, reread podcast, explicit and R freaking rated. John is the wild card, always talking shit. Joe's the straight man, he's a total dick. Tom calls in if he's not too busy. We are tWoTcast!
Hey guys. Hey boys.
Hi.
You're viewing tWoTcast, the Wheel of Time re-watch podcast. Now covering season 1 of the Wheel of Time. With me, as always, is Jono.
Jono.
And I'm Joe, and Tom is always here for these.
Study your math. I'm the closest now.
Hey boys.
Hi,
What have you
Yoey.
been up
Well, I haven't seen you in day.
to? It's been day.
Yeah.
It's
Been a while.
long day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I honestly literally didn't even want to
Tom,
say
what scene were you in?
I thought maybe saw you 3 days ago and forgot, so I didn't want to say it and get it wrong.
What city are
That's
you
probably
in
what
right
it
now?
is.
What?
Ciudad. What city?
New York again?
New York,
Scotty.
New York?
Just got here.
Are you trying to reveal Tom's
Sunday.
location to the viewers?
Honestly, when he sent that video of his privates and the whatever was else that's outside, I really wanted to see more of the plaza and see if you
Yeah.
could get
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Oh,
There's a plane.
yeah.
Guess of the new Ding Dang Dong.
The Holiday Inn Financial District in on 99 Washington Street in Lower Manhattan.
Hey, thanks.
Room
I'm
4601.
glad we know that now. That's good to know.
No one's coming here.
Yeah. He's actually 4602.
I wasn't actually expecting anyone to come.
Yeah, I was actually just in
Especially not
4602 going to watch everybody through the peephole show up to 4601 and murder the inhabitant there.
It's an insane guest with a gun.
Get down on your knees until it. Yeah. So, what's going on, boys?
I don't know.
I don't
There's
really
only,
have anything else to say for small talk other than I can't wait to talk about this show.
there's only
I want to talk about the
3
show.
episodes left.
Oh,
I know
fuck.
it is. The end of this is coming very quickly.
I,
It's kind of crazy, actually.
that's actually very upsetting for a number of reasons. So when we get to our thoughts on the show, I'll tell you mine. They're negative. On this episode.
One BC.
But I even with the current negative thoughts, I fucking love that this comes out once a week. Well, it's like Tom with me tells his parents once a week. Was mom, and I just fucking I don't know. I'm very just disappointed, really. Not that it's their fault, but I'll be talking to Rafley that they didn't put out 20 episodes in a season all at once because I don't want this shit to end. I've had so much fun covering this show, watching this show over and over. I've watched each episode 38 times, divided by 19, and it's been a fucking delight.
I've gotten to only watch each one. I watch it when it comes out, and then I watch it
on the plane.
before we do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched
That's it.
3, 4, and 5 twice, but I've watched 1 and 2 a couple of times. I watched
I
like
don't
3 or
wanna-
4 times.
Overdo it. Because I wasn't kidding the
Yeah.
first time we covered the first
I'm
3.
definitely
and the
as soon as
sixth
it's all
was
out,
like-
I'm gonna watch it all
Yeah.
at once. You
When
know,
I'd seen
just
them
binge watch
all
it.
like 5 times in 6 days, I was like, I think I'm starting to get tired of this. So I figured for the rest of them, like, I'll
Slow-
dial it
slow
back
down.
a little bit, enjoy it. As
That
it
being
comes
said,
out.
like it's definitely not long enough. Like we'll talk about it when we get into this episode, but like just from this episode alone, I'm like, well, that could have been a whole episode.
and probably we could do better job, appreciating the difficulty that is taking a fucking 14 book series and putting it into 8 at most. I don't know what the fuck they're really going to do with it.
I mean, it could have. I'm not asking for like a 26 episode. I'm just saying like 10. You know, like just a tiny bit more than.
Look,
Yeah.
they're keeping it nice and tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a time.
How fast do you
They
think
have to
it is
because
season
this
two?
is the eye of the world, quote unquote. So you know the later books get much larger.
That's true too.
I feel like Amazon shows tend to come out like other seasons, like much more rapidly than I usually expect them to.
Yeah, I can't remember. Does like, is it like 6 to 8 months in between, or is it a full year? Like, will we be watching this next November, or are we going to be seeing it in like August or something?
I don't know. I mean, I just remember for one great example, but just recently The Boys, I was like, man, that was great. And then I felt like 2 months later, they were like, new season's on the way. You'll be here any minute. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that did happen
That
fast,
was
but I can't remember if I definitely didn't watch The Boys right away though.
I feel like that's the thing though with seasons 1 and 2, right? Like just in general, because like it's almost like they film a fuck ton of things.
We get it.
And then almost like, yeah. And then like, do we want to kind of like, do we want to do this or not? Like, and then like, well, let's just greenlight it. Like, well, these guys are like half of them are going to be kind of like not named actors, right? So they almost like have nothing better to do than to go straight ahead and film season 2. Like that's contractually obligated to get it done quickly.
Nothing better to do.
There could be news as well, but weirdly enough, like I'm on our Twitter so much, or used to be like constantly. And then the second the show came out, like the biggest thing in the history of us having a podcast for 11 years, I was like, well, I'm done with that. I don't want to,
let's set a social media thing aside.
I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, and I don't want to be spoiled. Like, I don't even want to see previews for the next episode. So I'm just like, I'm just going to leave this alone. So we're just not all.
Yeah, I don't actually watch any of the previews for the next episodes. Yeah.
I've actually watched next season.
It's
Oh,
impossible.
well, that's good
It's
news.
not.
If you watched it, it must
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah, is
This
it-
one
is
must
it
end
good?
Well.
Total shit. It was some guy named Billy Zane walking around the hood, just yelling out at
25-minute season 2. That's it.
yeah, that's all season 2 is. And then there's some other guy just yelling Ileana over and over and over.
Let's.
To answer Adam's question, I don't think so.
there was
Pretty sure.
a
I mean, obviously they're
rumor
starting to.
from like some weird foreign newspaper that I don't know. If
And
that
for
is
the
verified.
audio listeners, he said, "Has there been a pickup for season 3 yet?" Yeah, there was a rumor of that. I think. Yeah.
So what are we doing tonight? Are we spoiling everything? What are we talking about? What are we watching?
Oh, you guys want to talk about stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, let's talk about Brando's comment. In retrospect, are you glad we got 3 episodes at once, or would you have liked to have 8 weeks of discussion?
Thanks.
I
That's
would've
Brandon
preferred-
Sanderson, right?
Scheduling's sake, absolutely 8 weeks. But for our podcast, but as a fan, no, give it all. Give me it all.
Yeah, all at once. It's like Tom at night, all at once. The problem is, like Joe is kind of irresponsible enough. Speaking of all at once, and nailed his wife about 12 months ago for the first time, and like had a kid. That was pretty fucking irresponsible. And
Yeah, that was
so
ridiculous.
scheduling was pretty difficult. So I wish Amazon had reconsidered about their when they were putting out episodes, or I guess when Joe had put out, so that we couldn't have, so we had a little more time. That's really been the issue.
The timing all got thrown up by the pandemic. Like I had everything scheduled out.
Yeah,
really fucked everything up.
Let's not.
we had a
pretend
menstrual
that-
calendar, an ejaculate calendar, a moon calendar, all these
Season
things.
3,
going.
exactly.
Yeah,
Season 3 was already confirmed.
We
So it's
know
cool.
Amazon has the ability to track your semen. Let's not
yeah,
kid
they
ourselves.
probably do. I'll
Nanobots.
tell you what, that reminds me of drugs.
Tom's cosplaying as Sweater Rand already.
It's cold here.
Are you warm in there?
It's cold in New York, and I had to turn off the heat while we do this because it's loud as dick.
I hope it dips to
I
like 40
see.
degrees.
It's not going to
My
get
dick
that
is
cold.
my dick is super fucking loud too, so I get it. So spoiler warning for this show, that is. So this is our episode covering the Wheel of Time episode 5, Blood Calls Blood. This is our episode breakdown, spoiler review, whatever you want to call it. But for the first segment of the show, we're just going to spoil the actual television show, and we will get to the eventuality of spoiling the books and the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 3, Blood Calls Blood, boys.
Episode 5, we'll try that again.
Episode 5, what Blood Calls Blood?
At some point, like, we should almost talk about, I feel like the titles, and this has nothing to do with spoiling anything. The titles were almost like a slight FU to everyone trying to schedule and assume what the fuck was going to happen in the books.
Yeah, it seemed like there's a lot of book nerds coming through what the titles meant and what could be in each episode. And some of it is right and some of it is wrong. And we can't talk about it here because we're not talking about the books right now.
Well, we certainly speculated on that.
Yeah, we did.
Sure.
I think we were pretty close. Like Blood Calls Blood.
Yeah, bamboozled.
Women's menstrual cycles syncing up.
We got bamboozled.
It was fun for guessing games.
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
So Joe, bring us in. Where are we to begin?
Funeral number 1. That's what I said. Funeral number 1. Spoilers for the rest of this episode. There's another funeral. I wrote Alana sings. They bury the dead king of Galdian. Corinna gets carried in. Last embrace of the mother welcoming you home. Steppen takes the ring.
Why
These are the worst graves ever.
I was impressed they got that far down into the dirt with when there's snow on the ground.
They can channel. They can channel, and if you don't want to channel to like make the like to move the dirt, that's fine. Heat it up so this way like it's at least easy to move dirt. That you dug them 8 inches, chest deep. Like Corinne's tits are going to be hanging out of the fucking ground. Like it's not a good look for anything. This is not good work.
I actually wrote that
when Lan puts the helmet of the King of Galdian on his chest, it's like it might as well just be sitting on top of the earth. It's like they bury him in, it'll just be sitting there.
I just put that the bottom of an animal's stomach is what's going to welcome them home. Not the I mean, the second they left, animals ate those dead bodies.
Yeah.
Right?
Parents.
I mean, I thought Tom had a good point with the cold earth part, but Jono's right. They can channel. There's no excuse. Also, they're holding normal candles.
Well,
I'm just saying it's special effects budget and everything, but like it would have been kind of cool if they were just all channeling a light.
That was my first thought. I was like, all right, it's a shallow grave, but maybe it's hard to dig or something. But then they did the sheets and the candles, and I was like, no, this is just what they do. I think
it wasn't snowing the night before. This is like they're still dirty. They're still bloody. It wasn't snowing in the battle of yesterday where the King of Gildan and others died.
That's bad timing for them. Everyone died and then it snowed overnight. Fuck.
Oh god.
No, Drab's making it. Don't judge different cultures. Whew, it's harsh.
Actually, it's Don T. Judge different cultures.
Oh yeah, that's true. Don T.
You judge other spellings and grammar. But also to his point, fuck off. Thank you, Drab.
Maybe they use the power to cover every thin when they're done. That's possible.
I like that we're the only dumb fuck. Well, it's my fault. Podcast.
Of course, Taffy has the best. They made the candle holders with the Warder's booze bottles. I get it. And also, they set the candles down on their bodies after, during the ceremony. So, clearly they weren't just going to be like, and I'll channel the fire onto his body. Oh, no.
The white what have I done? Just up in flames. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Steppenwolf grabs the ring to take back to Tarvalon. They do give him they do Borderland kind of like funereal rites, like last embrace of the mother kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Do they give him the ring? Like, if your Aes Sedai dies, do you have to bring the ring back? Is that part of their attempt to make sure that they don't kill themselves just immediately?
I do love that. I love the idea of having.
That's an excellent.
Yeah, like you've got a job to do, you piece of shit. You can't kill yourself yet. Which, by the way,
I mean, I already said, John, spoilers. Yeah. There's another funeral in this episode.
When he went to
and obviously this whole plot line is to show how devastating it is from either one of their perspectives, but specifically the Warders to like lose one or the other, and how deep the bond is. But like, yeah, I don't know. A little too much time spent on it for me, I guess. I was just like, show me more loyal.
Yeah,
like a little less
conversation.
He just wants to take the ring back, and I was like, it's not a Green Lantern ring. Like, I have to bring it back and give it to somebody else.
There is
maybe white cloaks desecrate their bodies, Tom.
There's a lot going on like with that weird shit too.
Yeah,
like, maybe there's like more, like consideration given to like some of the religious aspects of it and some of like the more sentimental of the ring, that kind of thing. One of the things that did kind of like interest me almost was the melting of the ring was Gollum-esque, or unintentionally Gollum-esque too, and we'll get to that obviously. But it just, I don't know, it gave a secondary importance that maybe we'll like, maybe we won't when we find a little more about it. But right now, it just kind of seems, at least to book readers or book writers, I guess too, like just odd. And Adam, Adam's wondering, did anyone else wonder where the stone from her ring went?
That just sank to the bottom.
Yeah.
I thought he meant when he picked it up. I was like, was it not there? So you're talking about when he melted the ring.
The Warders have a side hustle going on. They're selling the fucking emeralds.
There's a whole lot going on in this episode, so we're moving forward. Intro.
Yeah. Oh man, but what about why the circle?
I don't know. Why 2 circles?
Because it's a ring, guys. It's a ring.
Fuck me.
I understand why visually you would put them in the graves in a circle, but why did the people in the show put everybody in a circle like that?
This is mass grave time. It's cold. There's a 1/4 inch of snow. It's Georgia style. You can't fucking dig in that.
You guys are really stepping on this intro part. Look, there's nothing to talk about. There's a white Aja, there's a yellow Aja. I thought it was cool. Moving on.
Let's get to 1 month later.
1 month later?
So, yeah.
That's it. That's the biggest that's the biggest plot issue I've got of everything. 1 month later.
Listen, they're gonna move time forward, and I get that. But like the second it said 1 month later, I went, or episode 6. Like, why are you showing me 1 month? I mean, I get it. I mean, I get it.
Clearly was,
but at the same time, it's like
uneventful travel, peaceful travel on the road.
It could have been eventful travel. There's plenty of things for them to have.
That's why they skipped it.
Make less.
They did write it as episode 6, and they were like, "This is boring. Let's just write 1 month later."
You know what? That's probably what happened. I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah.
They wrote episode 6, and they were like, you know what? Fuck this. Just say 1 month later in episode 5, we're done.
Well, that's what Harriet did with the 4th Taviran. Just say, fuck this guy. What are you doing here?
What the hell's the point of this?
Maybe it was originally supposed to be 9 episodes, and Amazon came back and like, you guys can only do 8. We're cutting the budget. And they're like, what are we going to do? And like, what if episode 5 is, we just call it 1 month later? We push 6 back to 5.
Anyway, talking to 1 month later, Stepan's walking with an empty horse. Loghain's gentle and docile. Lan and Moraine talk about how it's weird to be home, and then she said, "This horse is my home," and stuff like that. What are you laughing? And then she asks about Nynaeve, and they kind of discuss Nynaeve for a second. He's like, "You think she talks to me?" And she's like, "She eats at your campfire every night."
And then
I think what we don't know is that campfire is code for
Dick,
bush.
Dick, butthole, and bush were the options.
We all had a different guess.
Eyebrow podcast.
He just says that to me, like, she eats at your campfire every night. And he's like,
Tank?
And then that's it.
I think Tom's the winner on that one. Butthole's the winner. What did you eat? Peppers. All I eat is peppers.
Butthole's the winner. We need to figure out how to put polls up, guys.
I don't have time for that. How many moving objects I'm juggling here?
I was stunned to see that they were already at Tarvalon, and then it cuts to Rand and Matt, and then they look up and they're like, "Oh, look where we are!" And I was like, "Holy shit!"
I've got so many thoughts. Like biggest fucking city in the world, or at least in the known world that we see.
Yeah.
Right. And at one point, they had their own, pretty much like their own country during like certain wars. Like as like time has, expanded and regressed as far as like there's they have people. Like that is like a civilized, well-trodden, like there's villages and farmers everywhere. And yet it looks, other than the fact that you see the tower in the like distance, it could be 1,000 miles from anywhere, really. And yet a million fucking things are going to happen this entire episode of there's going to be White Cloaks, there's going to be this. Like, this is, there's no tower guard anywhere. Like, there just happens to be, like I don't know.
Let's get to that when we get to it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but also borderline spoilery. I can't. I mean, not really, but like, I guess we're not talking about a plot line specific thing or anything. But like, it's hard to talk about like Tarvalon in the books versus Tarvalon in the show without like.
If you see a city that fucking big, you don't think that a mile away, because that tower looks very, very large over a couple trees. You don't think there's other people there? Like that just doesn't make sense from, spoiler, city planning hood.
What?
Yeah.
I start city planning 101 tomorrow, you dick.
Spoiler. Should have fucking told.
Brandon said it didn't seem like it added much. I think he's talking about the 1 month later. They could have just removed that from the cut and it would have felt like it changed much. And then
I don't disagree.
Which I agree with.
Yeah, Brandon's right.
I would have pieced that together if they were all arriving there at the same. I wouldn't have thought it was the next day.
It might have been better.
I mean, but also the hair is longer. Baron's hair is the big clue. That's clearly been a month.
That's what in order to watch the show, you have to be a hair detective.
So real quick, they say they talk about the Emmons Field 5, not including the name, obviously, like the 4, I guess. Land's like, do you think they're there? And she's like, well, if they're there, we'll find them, and if they're not, we'll find them. And I was like, that's good.
We're back to those two. I was already on Rand.
No, we're on the road with Rand and Matt.
Matt looks like shit.
Yeah, that hair detective could tell what he was.
What is this mysterious thing? I guess we can talk about that.
I assume it's Ogre script.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
that's an excellent. That's a good guess. I mean, Tarvalon is technically,
the biggest problem.
100% Ogre built.
The biggest problem with covering the show, and not spoiling the books, is that we can't speculate on things because our speculation is basically a spoiler.
We could use a speculation.
Anything weird we see, we have to be like, I wonder what that might be. Join us at the end of the episode.
But we see, maybe it doesn't mean anything, but we see in other things, like other ads or whatever we've seen, that don't match up to my expectations for what this probably was in some way.
What about this little running man next to Matt? He looks jolly.
Oh, he's a steam wagon mule child.
Yeah, it's that guy, steam.
We'll see him later on. Don't worry.
Spoiler.
I can't believe
spoiler for tWoTcast from 8 years ago.
He's like the jolliest running man in the world next to like the grumpiest.
He's about to bump into Matt, and Matt's gonna be like, "Fuck you, kid."
Looks like a reject fucking Mary or Pippin just jogging past him.
So when they walk in the city and this lady's walking by with a basket and Rand just grabs something out of it and he's like, "Can I have one?" and just starts to eat it. Like, what the fuck was that?
This is very bad comedy.
First of all, I have a thought before we get there, but we have this scene which I thought was fucking cool. Just to see,
I think this is.
It looks fantastic.
It looks
like there's villages on the other side of the bridges.
Yeah, and on the bridges on this side too. It's almost like they're not to the villages yet. Everything's fine.
You're a mile away. A mile.
Are they? That could be 7. That's like 8 miles.
Yeah, it's probably deceiving.
Super far away.
Still.
That tower. Wait a minute. That tower really looks like a cock and balls, doesn't it?
I wrote. We talk about without before we get anywhere.
I had not noticed that.
I know we're live, but do we want to talk about South Harbor?
No, but there is 2 round things on either side of that jutting tower.
Good. Anyway, I wrote, Matt yells at a kid, fucking kids are the worst.
Yeah.
Stop looking at me. And then Rand says, I see a mountain, and they climb to see it. And then they look down upon Tarvalon from on high. And that was the key to that picture.
Somebody's always on high somewhere.
Someone's always on high.
I kind of want to see it. I mean,
yeah.
Really good.
Getting to what Tom was saying there. Matt and Tom and Matt and Rand in the streets.
Do you just walk by somebody in the street with a basket and you're like, can I have one of those? And they're like, there you go.
Yeah.
She was walking around selling wares and stuff, but like it wasn't. And he pays her for it too, real quick. It's like real
does he
fast.
pay?
Yes, it's real fast. Yeah, he
says,
randomly hands.
"Can I have one?" And
I didn't see the payment. All I saw was him just.
It looks like he hands her something when he takes it from her. I could be wrong. I don't know. What do you guys say in the comments? Did he pay her for that weird street meat?
So this right after that is a part I thought went way too fast. They walk up to the inn, and Rand's like, "Oh, here it is. One of Tom's good friends owns it. He told me to go here." And then 2 seconds later, they're in a room.
Yeah,
pretty nice room.
The Queen's blessing. Like there's so much like.
Well, we don't know the name of this inn, I don't think.
Actually, it's called the Amirlin's blessing.
Yeah,
it's the Amirlin's blessing.
Oh, do they?
I'm kidding. I don't know.
No, they said it.
I think that's kind of a. No, I don't. Wait, did they say it in the show? No, they didn't.
Yeah, they said it's the Queen's blessing, which I guess now makes even less.
He just said Tom. The innkeeper is an old friend of Tom's. He didn't say anything.
And then they have a room.
Yeah,
quick. And then there's one other part in the episode that just seems like it happens like that. I'm like, what the fuck just happened here?
They have a room, and Matt's basically like, "Do you think I killed those kids?"
Oh, that's
like, no, me and Tom saw it. It wasn't you. And he's like, "Tom's dead." And you're like, okay, Jesus Christ, Matt.
He's just like, "Me and Tom saw it. It's 2 against 1. You think you did it? We think you didn't." He's like, "But Tom's not here. It's 50-50.
Now it's 1-1. Yeah.
I know because I studied my math.
We don't have a quorum. I might have killed them." That's a weird thing to say.
I mean, I thoughts for later. So we get to Warder's quarters, and they're basically like, they tell Nynaeve to sleep here. Don't talk to anyone that we came in with. Don't talk to any Aes Sedai at all, kind of thing. And then Moiraine and her sort of have a one-on-one about what it's like to, be super powerful, but also be scared because what you're going through. Like I went through it once too.
I love this. Like this from Moiraine, I think is awesome. Avoiding politics, avoiding this kind of what these people can do to you and how it's going to affect her. I think is a fantastic kind of just perfect to the character of Moiraine. I do think it's really dumb that my eyes and ears are watching every single piece, and whoops. But like the actual Moiraine gives here, I think is actually great. And Nynaeve's rebuttal is pretty fun too.
I mean, it is great. I feel like Moraine's like reaching out to Nynaeve in a actually genuine way and just kind of going like, I totally get where you're coming from or what you're feeling right now. And like, I'm at, and also I thought it was really cool that she was like, "Yeah, but will you actually take me to them when they come, if you find them?" And she's like, and before she leaves the room, she's like, "And if I find your friends, or when I find your friends, I will bring you to them." Like she like flat out says it, and I was like, that was pretty cool.
Were you confused, like even for a millisecond, when they just walked into this room? She's like, "These are the Warder's quarters," and it was just like one room, and I was like, you should have said that much earlier when you this wing in the building.
Yeah, like in that hallway with the statues.
Yes,
that's when you. So she walked through a portion of the tower, and then they got to a specific room, and they were like, "These are the Warder's quarters."
Also, doesn't Warder's
so she's like, "Do they all
like
sleep in here?"
Rural juror from you're right.
The Warder's quarters, the human's torch.
I did like that she was like, "You're so powerful. When word gets out that you're here, and it will, you'll be expected to be a novice like by the end of the day." Like, like kind of thing. So like I'm giving you solid advice, like stay away from everyone that you came in with, kind of thing.
But is that a clever hiding spot? I'm gonna walk through the middle of the tower for a while.
I don't know about clever, but I think she feels safe there.
I think not in the tower at all would have been the best place.
There we go. That's Oh, great! Yeah.
Where's the name?
Anyone else hear the G?
Not in the Warder's quarters. She's elite.
Well, she's been hanging out with the Warders every single night on her way in because she's been eating at Land's campfire.
Butthole.
Land buns.
Yeah. We need a clip of that. Isolate Jana.
Oh, sorry. I need to get a good shot of land buns. We have a Tinker protest. We cut
this one.
This was weird to me.
Yeah.
Why did they stop the Tinkers? And then even when he recognized Perrin and Egwene, like, so
I Bloodfall and
I don't know why that's tickling me so much. So?
I mean, I don't understand.
Tom, the light brought them to him twice.
Wait a minute. I've seen you before.
Yeah. You've probably seen a lot of people before. You fucking psycho.
No, it's a new group of white cloaks every morning.
It was strange.
And that's like, again, Joe
maybe. Go ahead, Jono. Sorry.
No, Joe, what you said was the only answer that actually exists technically is I've seen you once. Shame on me. Seen you twice. I'm going to affirm you. That's the only thing he says.
Here's the only thing I can think of. That those white cloaks are there for a specific reason to catch the Aes Sedai that went out to get Logain. And they're trying to stop every one of them before they get into the city.
Also, that would never
And as
work.
we've established, they're at least 8 miles away.
That makes no sense. If the White Cloaks would have run into that column of Aes Sedai and warders coming back from that battle, they would have gotten shredded.
Yes.
And they're outside the city. And again, to Jonah's point, where is the army of Tarval?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
And also, by the way, 8 miles, 7 miles, someone who's good at trigonometry and could actually do the math for how high the trees are in the fucking tower. Either way, we're really fucking close to this. Like,
Trap said they were with Moraine, and he said he would remember that. We do remember that, but also it's not like it still doesn't add up. I guess.
Why would he suspect Moraine though? Moraine was not with the main group of Aes Sedai. He's never seen the Aes Sedai. What was like Drab is completely right.
She was also quote unquote cleared,
Yes. So why the fuck does you? Why the fuck?
I'm more concerned that the White Cloaks have free reign to just ride around the city and scoop up any girl coming there that might be coming to train to be Aes Sedai anytime they feel like it.
It's very concerning.
So again, we can discuss this further in the book spoiler area.
Well, I don't think
I have thoughts on that also.
Yeah.
My comment is.
Then we get to this. This is the other unrealistic part. Did you ever see that part in Encino Man where the bullies are there and he's like swinging all around and knocking everybody down? He could take out like 10 guys at once. 3 guys on a horse can't take out Encino Man.
That's true.
That is true.
I don't even know what that is. How does that match up with the show?
It's Aram.
I hadn't looked up.
It's just a picture of Aram. Guys?
All right.
I think it's weird too,
Mustard is a perfect vegan food, though. Yeah. Well, if done correctly, I guess.
We can get to the show.
Highlight of the show. Loyal.
Yeah.
Wait, are we there? Oh, yeah. Aram, Sino, Man, and Egwene and Perrin get run down. Oh, yeah. Rand in the library. That's where we're at. Okay.
I loved it. It was too brief for me, kind of.
It was a little too brief.
Yeah. I'll let you, Tom, you go first.
That was it.
Oh, all right. Well, then fuck you. Jono, I go first. I loved the actor. I think the actor has done everything right. I think that this get up, like facially, like our good friend Paul Bielchek or Paul Balzac could probably do better if given like a week. This just doesn't look like an Ogier, like done bet. Like it doesn't work for me. All you've done is put like 3 ridges to his face and a slightly different haircut.
Well, this is a spoiler thing then. Right?
I mean,
borderline?
But I don't know. I feel like you should be able to say that this doesn't quite look like what you expect when, like, realistically.
I mean, that's not that wrong. I guess it's just like we've seen. Yeah. There's descriptions of Ogier in the books, and
they don't quite. I don't care about the height, the size. Like I'm just talking about like the actual like what's that differentiating from this versus like like it's not really that
I guess
interesting looking of a
I
character.
guess I see what you mean. Like, I would never look at that person maybe walking down the street and be like, monster.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
whole point.
I
You're
mean,
supposed
it
to
doesn't look like a normal person, but it doesn't look like.
No, I mean, like
I
it's
mean,
just
in terms of practical effects,
I liked it. I was into
it just I would just say this prosthetics looked mildly stiff, like he couldn't like move his facial features a lot. But I mean, like that's because he had a gigantic nose and brows jabbed onto his face. So it's like I mean, I get it. You know,
I mean, I think it's personally, I'm not a fan of this version of it. I think the actor himself is perfect.
Yeah.
His mannerisms, his voice.
We can definitely let's
Yeah.
circle around to Loyal when we when we can talk about spoilers to the books, because I've got a lot here.
No,
and
you don't. Even small
chat's
things.
going crazy with spoiler comments.
Yeah, never
Anyway.
read the comments, I guess.
Never. Well, you know, they can do whatever they want.
That's a good rule for life. So we get the Logan procession. We see-
I do love this. I do love
Same.
the Logan procession.
Oh,
we
this
get
is the
Thane
wrong.
for a millisecond. Oh wait.
Oh
there it
yeah,
is.
this is.
Oh, we
yeah,
forgot to.
that's
Well,
Pat and
we can
Thane
do
for a
it in the
millisecond.
spoiler. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can, as terms of the show, you can just note Pat and Fane's there from the beginning, from the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we heard
So here's
whistles.
the parade.
Yeah, you hear that whistling.
We heard whistles. Also, real quickly about Loyal, I love that he called Rand an Aielman. I think that's entertaining to me, and how Loyal.
Yeah,
like,
I really liked. Oh, when he said I love oddities, like I grabbed this picture of him just because he's like smile. I love that little smile and the twinkle in his eyes. He's adorable.
Yeah,
It really is.
Just maybe not what I would expect an ogre to look like.
Where's the teacups? Oh, nipples.
That's impossible.
When you show the still of that
Yeah,
parade,
so-
it's a lot less grand than I thought it was. I think when I watched it on the show.
Yeah, there
I
are.
mean, that's just a
15
brief.
people.
Yeah, sometimes if you
Yeah.
freeze things, it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So when Logan laughs, was that real or was that Matt imagining that?
So
So-
Matt and Rand watch the parade. Logan stares at them and laughs. I wrote. I mean, well, lots of my thoughts are spoilers here, but I would say like, I think it was real. I think he laughed. I just think that Matt zoomed in on it and
Thought it
homed
was
in
just
on
a
it, like
regular
paranoia
thing.
style, and like and just like went like crazy with it in his head. I think it happened. I just don't think like it happened maybe the way Matt saw
I
it.
like that interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, like I agree.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the murder-suicide pact?
A lot going on in that.
I liked it. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Matt seems much more excited to join it for Rand's like, oh, I'll kill you too, man. Like,
What about me? You kill me too?
Yeah, I think it's reversed, John. I think Rand was like, absolutely, I'll do it for you, no problem, don't worry about it. And then Rand's like, well, what about for me? Would you do it? And Matt's like, nah, yeah, sure, I guess.
I guess it's just
Yeah.
a murder pact. It's
I
not
guess
like if Matt turns out to be the dragon, it's not like he expects Rand to kill him and then kill himself.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just
that's
a murder.
why would I kill myself? I'm not the dragon. Yeah, I'm not a fucking piece of shit.
Like you're the one that sucks. Moving on with my life.
Like Brando said, I like that Matt said "you bet," and I thought that's pretty. Good comment.
Yeah.
What do we got
do
next?
find
I
it,
got.
you know,
I wrote
and that-
"Let's make a promise." That was that scene.
I'm back
is
to
it
seven.
weird? Maybe is it again here in this series they're talking about the fact that the expectation here is that the Dragon Reborn is going to save the world. It's going to be the savior. And yes, maybe there's just a plus or negative on insanity, and that's bad. But you're going to be the world's savior. Is it weird to have that pact given that? Like, is it weird that you have this? Obviously, you don't want to be wrong about being a false dragon and you in fact just go insane and kill people. But
Yeah.
there's like a theory that like the prophecy says that this dragon will save the world. So why do you have this suicide pact? I would think that that's kind of a
It's
pretty
about,
positive thing.
he basically said it's not about prophecy. It's not
Yeah.
about him being the dragon. He doesn't care about any of that. He just doesn't want to end up gentled and fucking wanting to kill himself like Logain in a cage. Like, he's like, don't let that happen to me. He doesn't mean like,
He's down in the
he
dumps.
basically says like, if I can channel, I don't believe any of this prophecy bullshit. Just don't let that shit happen to me. Like, don't let me become like him.
Yeah, but he might. We're not lending enough weight to the idea that I think a lot of people think a lot of these prophecies in the TV show are just fairy tales or bullshit.
Yeah, and then that was kind of, I mean, we've gotten hints like
Not
that before,
quite as
but this
accepted.
that specifically was like one of like few
Maybe the
hints
fucking
that is
TV
like,
show should do better.
yeah. I mean, my notes were like, we won't let that each other become like that. I don't care about the prophecies nonsense. That was like the only thing I wrote about that promise scene. So like, I mean, like that's what you're supposed to take away there.
So when that's done, we get back to Eeyore.
Eeyore.
Oh, he's so
Oh,
sad.
So sad. I literally just wrote, oh, so sad.
I just wrote Steppen preps for a funeral. He tells a story about how he met Corinne, and then she gave him honor, and then Maxim follows it up with like, well, fuck your story. This is the only family I've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. And then he kind of jabs at Lan by saying like, Lan's kind of like, hey, you could move on and like, you know, like there's another, like Alana, maybe Alana will take you on. And he's like, fuck you lose Moraine first, and then you'll see.
This is a real group effort by everybody to get this guy back from the brink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, real quick question. You know the place where they melt the rings?
Yeah.
Maybe not a good idea to have a rail-less balcony on like the
Holy
fifth story of the White
What's
House.
going on?
Suicide.
I expected suicide literally every piece of the way, every scene.
I mean, it's made for him to jump right off after he drops the ring in.
Yeah.
Not even jump, walk.
You know what? It didn't even occur to me. You know what my note was for that? I didn't even write it down. It was like, that's a nice balcony.
I mean, there's a lot of dangerous balconies in this TV show.
Oh, man.
When they're in Shader Logoth and Rand walks up in that building, and Gwyn goes up behind him, and I'm just like, what? Get away from the edge. There's no railing.
Yeah, don't push too hard.
Well, also for the whole rest of the episode, he goes through this elaborate process just so he can kill himself, and he could have just done it right then.
Right there, man.
Yeah.
And right after you
And
melted
then suddenly
the ring,
Harry and Marv are there, and they're looking over the window, and they're like, maybe he committed suicide.
Maybe he committed suicide. Again, I expected suicide every fucking scene except when it happened, really. Which, you know, I guess shame on me. It was, I don't know. Steppen, I'm glad he's gone to a certain extent because he looked like Tom Maryland's like deranged younger brother. Just not quite as fun. Maybe a little better looking, but not as entertaining. It's just kind of like, yeah, you know, not really missing that much. Plus, he's got a lot of things to learn about his sexuality later. Maybe that's why he killed himself.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yes. I'm not sure I'm put out for this. I mean, cut out for this.
There's some really good comments in the comment that I want to talk about, but they're very spoilery, so we can talk about them later. Tom's going to pee, so we'll just show Aram again.
Fuck. I'm not even that drunk.
So anyway, Steppen burns the ring. What do we have? What do we have next here?
I think it's weird that all the warders have been apparently some form of like a father tried to kill me, father tried to get me into killing situations.
I mean, that was two people's stories, Jono. Come on.
Well, we're 2 for 2.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Lan's story. His entire people were murdered.
Spoiler, you cunt.
Come on.
Come on.
We have a quick scene with Lan and Moraine holding hands, and then we move. Oh yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it was very nice. Yeah. And then we have Valda interviews Egwene and Perrin.
Yeah.
I wrote, Egwene gets rubbed down in a bad way. We love the blood. I said I love the blood on the ropes. And then I wrote, he left Perrin dirty. That's rude.
It does seem unnecessary. Maybe like, if you didn't die here, have an infection. then die.
Interesting.
So, like along the lines we've already discussed, why is he so like? Again, I get you traveled with someone who I think because coincidentally I saw her twice, or I saw you twice. She must have been Aes Sedai, even though she was cleared. So we're at a bizarre bridge too far already. But why does she think? Why does he think that she's Aes Sedai, or at least can channel? Like it's so.
The only connection is that he saw her with Moraine, but that doesn't make any
cleared.
that logical leap is so, unless he was 100% convinced that Moraine was an Aes Sedai, which, quite frankly, she looked like one. She had a guy standing next to her with a sword.
Good enough.
It wasn't that crazy, and he just couldn't prove it, and maybe he reined himself in because Bonehold was there. That's the only thing I can think of. Like maybe he was like holding back because he knew Bonehold would get upset about it.
I'll tell you what.
He was like, "Well, I'm pretty sure I'm right, so I'm going to tie this person up and fucking murder them."
Questioners are 1 for 1 so far, by the way. Like, he fucking he always gets his man.
He nailed it. He's nailing it. That's kind of what I'm saying. So, like, if he's doing that good of a job, like, I don't know. Maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's as simple as that. Like, maybe he's just like, I saw you with a person that I know for a fact is an Aes Sedai. I just couldn't prove it, so that's why I'm grabbing you. It has nothing to, like, maybe it's simple. The answer is simple.
It's something we could probably talk about forever. Like he's a fascinating, like, obviously eminently hateable character. And honestly, if you don't hate him, then there's something really wrong with you. You may want to go to jail or shrink. But anyway, but he's beautiful in this role of just being one giant fucking awful zealot. Like, he's fucking perfect.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job.
He's doing the light's work in a very, very bad way.
I'm not sure why we're being told to drink, but I will.
Oh, did I say fascinating? I probably did.
Oh, that's what it was.
I'm gonna do another beer in a minute.
You sons of bitches.
Yeah. Right. Where were we? You should probably where I get lost.
I did like the comment of you don't need hands; it's a crutch. She sticks to the I can't channel thing, which I mean I thought was, whether or not that this is book spoiler or not, sure, maybe, but like, well, not because she can channel and she didn't use her hands, but I liked that just the introduction of that into the show period was like, because they've been using their hands a lot. Let's put it that way. So like as a book reader, you're like, that's kind
women do that. That's kind of their way of, like, they don't really trust your cleanliness, so they'd rather just use the hand. In my experience,
yeah. That tracks.
You're welcome. That's one for time. Finally. Wow, that was a Freudian slip of my penis.
Finally.
Yeah. So, it still doesn't make sense though that there was the Aes Sedai in his first episode who was just hanging out there. Like, let's again pretend that she can't use her hands and he's somehow bizarrely protected, which we'll get to. You're not going to try anything. You're not going to try to, move some air, move some water, move something to not. I guess the summation. I'm fascinated by how the fuck he can have that many Aes Sedai rings. How he can.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that seems like an extensive amount. But maybe there.
I have theories.
More of them in the show. I don't know. Like, it just seems like if you killed that fucking many. Or maybe that's his entire career's worth of hunting down Aes Sedai. I don't know.
That's a hell of a fucking career.
Well, I mean, it depends on how long he's doing it. He's got a little gray in his hair.
It doesn't fucking
he's got a
matter.
little pepper. He's got a little salt and pepper in there.
Anyway, we'll get to the.
I just wrote he carves up Perrin, and then he gives them the ultimatum: if you channel, fuck you. And then, but if you don't, fuck him, kind of thing.
What are your thoughts on the sunburst on the table in front of Perrin? Looks like the words.
Well, I guess I should have left it up to discuss.
To look at. Yeah.
But I don't know. It looks like a burning campfire to me.
It's an awful sunburst. It looks like Medusa fucked the sun. Like it's not really good.
I mean, it looks like Land's campfire. That's all. It's fine.
Yeah.
I wrote All right, so next scene, I wrote Stepan asks Nynaeve for drugs, and then she says the pain never goes away. It's a real quick scene, but basically she's his drug dealer, you know?
Yeah. Real quick, go back to our good friend here, Mr. Murder. I did appreciate his second thing, too, where he says that, kind of like his justification which doesn't really make sense, but, if the creator wanted you to use this, well, he didn't. It doesn't matter what the if clause was. And therefore, you shouldn't have it. And anyone who wants to use this power, it has to be from the dark. Okay, there you go. There's justification. And then Perrin's wolf eyes start to kind of like his eyes start yellowing, either briefly jaundiced. Yeah, there we go. That's more. I guess that's not jaundice though. It's just the pupils.
One might say that they're not connected at all.
No, you want to go to that mustard scene again?
I mean, anytime, Jono. Literally anytime.
They're yellowing. This is like they're yellowing. That's what happens. Is on the inside. Brendan Fraser.
What do you mean, Brendan Fraser? I mean, you mean Aramcino, man.
Aramcino. I want Tom to just walk in just on that.
He's watching this whole thing. He's downstairs, scared in the park, smoking a cigarette. He's watching the whole thing. He knows what we're talking about. So Nynaeve goes wandering through the halls on the opposite of what Moraine told her to do.
Yeah.
Goes and of course, and Leandrin pops out. And I say pops out because you don't see her where she comes from. And the corner that she does come around from is like, I don't know, the dark one. But but it's just like, there's so many columns. I just like love the idea of her just being like, hey, I see, just waiting outside the room the whole time. There's so many places for her to hide in that hallway.
Yeah, but also like Leandrin's like
because it's completely empty, and Nynaeve like, let me see the statue. Oh, hi, Leandrin.
But like Leandrin, why she's always everywhere? Again, I get the fact that the plot's revolving around her, right? But do you not have she's been said it's been said that she's building a faction, but yet she's doing it all herself. I don't know. It's just kind of strange, but why not?
Yeah.
On that note, I did appreciate, when Stepan came in to get the sleepy tea. I don't know why. I have gotten like.
Oh, we're back. We're going back to Stepan.
Yeah, of course. But in this
forward.
All right, we're back to drug dealer.
All right.
Yeah,
we're back to drug dealer. Then I want to say something. Did Nynaeve make him kill himself? She's like, the pain never goes away, and he's like, oh. Shit.
I think you figured it out.
I think
this is what happened. He looked at that beautiful balcony he could have just leapt off of, and he goes, well, eventually this pain will fade and I'll feel better.
He's like,
then he went down and talked to Nynaeve, and he was like, fuck.
She's like, just so you know,
at least she told me the truth.
Goes away, and he's like, I was just kind of being romantic and poetic for a minute. Like, I thought I'd feel better tomorrow.
Jesus Christ. Nynaeve's that's not good.
She knows not just how to take care of her enemies, but possible enemies.
Oh, all right.
So anyway, back to Nynaeve and Leandrin. Let's talk about persimmons.
Yeah, they're in the garden, and you can check them out if you want to. You don't have to.
I am starting to lose it here.
I'd never heard it said that way before.
Persimmon, right?
Go look at the persimmons. I was like,
maybe it's just men holding persimmons.
Both set up straight on the couch. We're like, what?
It's men holding persimmons.
Obviously, that's
if we get into trouble, my safe word will be persimmons.
Persimmons? I couldn't get over it.
What am I saying? What way?
And I forgot about it. I rewatched it today, and I was like, "Oh no, not again!" Feels so wrong.
Anyway, the point of this conversation, we see a hint of why Leandrin hates men. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she wasn't even referring to herself. Enjoy your freedom. By the way, there's a garden to the library. Oh wait, we already talked about that.
Is she pointing Nynaeve at Loyal?
That's
Yeah.
the weird part here. So this is the part of this episode that starts to disconnect for me. There's a lot of quick cuts to the next scenes, and I'm like, I need a little bit more connective tissue
Like,
there.
we
There was
go
like,
from here to here real fast now. Like this is when everything just like it's like when you take that first shit.
I mean,
after you
nothing's
drink a
wrong with this
lot,
upcoming scene. It's just
and
that
it just
the connective
gets
tissue's
really
not there.
loose. Yeah.
She's like, why don't you go look at the persimmons? And then all of a sudden, Loyal's back with the name. Like, look who I found in the garden. Landon's
So look what I found in the library.
immediately after.
So Loyal brings in Ninyabe to Rand,
Yeah.
and he goes and he says, "I went to the tower and found the woman you spoke of earlier. Reunited, and it feels so good." Matt yells, "Don't touch me!" Is there a mashadar on his tongue? Oh. She goes, "Let me see your tongue," and he goes, "Don't touch me!" And I was like, does he just have mashadar vomit like in his mouth all the time?
What
Like,
happens
is
if
it
you
right
eat
there?
someone out?
Very bad.
She disintegrates. Like that's a disgusting pussy.
If that's what it is, if Matt's always like throwing up in his mouth, I'd be that angry and upset too.
Yeah, that'd be very bad. How's that food taste? Disintegrated and gross.
I
Fuck
mean,
you.
to me, I mean, we can. So I was going to talk about this in ratings, but like right here is the part of the episode where I was like, wait, what? Because I thought
Therefore,
there was a scene that I didn't see. You know, like because he brings him. So Rand mentions Egwene, but he doesn't mention her by name. So that's where the disconnect comes from. But he mentions Egwene, and then he brings back Nynaeve, and I was like, wait, so am I supposed to understand that they've been having multiple conversations, and there's like other times that they've talked, and like he mentioned Nynaeve by name, and he went and got Nynaeve, and like why didn't we see the scene where he got Nynaeve, and like you know like kind of thing, and I was like, well, later on when I realized like, oh, he just misunderstood. I saw a Two Rivers woman. You mentioned a woman from the Two Rivers.
It
I
implies
grabbed her.
that Leandrin,
But it's still like very loose.
It implies Leandrin knows that where Rand and Matt are, that they've met Loyal, that Loyal's in the garden. Like it's very strange. And then she sends her
everything
down
about it just makes you think that whatever the fuck Moraine said is wrong. Discount everything she is doing, saying, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, thank you. Hello Sunmaid. Oh, I guess for the listeners, Hello Sunmaid says Nynaeve just appearing was a bit of whiplash for me too. Also, hi everyone. And whiplash, I think, might be the right term because I think I paused it and I said,
that scene was like jarring.
So
like
3 times
in an episode when you have a 1 month later cut, and then like, and then there's like a lot of stuff with Steppen and Karenna and funerals and so, and you're like, why don't you show a little less of that and a little bit more of like, oh, Nynaeve, I'm loyal. I met Rand. Let's go here. Like a little bit more of that. Like, I don't know.
When she goes to the garden and then Loyal walks in, I could have used the 2 hours later thing. I was like, is this in the garden?
2 hours later.
We're going to look up, see who the assistant director was, and that guy's just name is going to be 1 month later. Like, that's it. That's the whole director's name. Just like,
all right, we got to move along. We got to move along.
Yeah, so Rand and Nynaeve have a quick like talk in the hallway outside, and they sort of just discuss like
breakbone fever.
I think Matt can channel, and then she tells Rand the breakbone fever story. But which the whole point of that is basically like Egwene never broke. Like that was a thing that should have happened. It didn't. She's so strong.
I hope they revisit that.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so.
Yeah.
And again.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to Egwene and Perrin.
Egwene actually
so actually, that was my next note. Yeah. My next scene. This scene is called Egwene Breaks.
She doesn't.
I'm kidding, but she does in the sense of that she immediately starts channeling when she knows she's not supposed to.
I forgot to. I got to. That little sad fireball was the funniest fucking thing I ever saw.
Oh, you mean this guy?
Honestly, in like a half a second, I went from like "fuck yeah, light him on fire" to like laughing. Like
I know that was fucking awesome though. I mean, I love that it's a misdirect, and then I love that she was actually burning the ropes and like she was doing something, but like that was fucking.
It wasn't a misdirect.
Really funny.
I don't think
I'll try round 2.
I think it was a misdirect. I think she was trying to hurt him, maybe not, or maybe she was trying to hurt him and just free Perrin, or maybe she was concentrating on Perrin and failed at the other thing, but she was doing two things at once. Is the
I
point?
think it's fair
And,
to
like-
expect that if you hit someone with a ball of flame 6 inches in diameter and his clothes is going to catch on fire, and that'll be
It wasn't
sufficient.
even a singe.
Yeah, again, she got that wrong. I don't blame her for that, and we'll talk about that later. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Uh,
the eyeball.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
I mean,
Nick
this is the other scene.
Nick Asensio ascending.
Um,
Sand fireball. Go back to Nick Asensio's because that's also delightful. It's a
no,
very
Egwene
great.
looks like she's going to climb out of a well on a VHS tape.
If
Yeah,
that was
that's
true, we'd
great.
all be in a lot of trouble. A lot of people watch that. You know, it's not like one person watched it.
Yeah.
There'd be ring dings everywhere.
I'm on Team
Number one
Fantastic here.
streaming
Is that my team?
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was awesome.
I love.
What else is going on here?
I think it's a fascinating like what his plan is kind of brutally beautiful, I guess. Of either you can channel whether by yourself or by just kind of having watched so much desperation and needing to happen. Either he dies and you're not, or you prove yourself as needing to be killed. I mean, I guess it's sufficiently brutalitarian. And then, he forgot to bargain for I don't know how he deflects the fire, whatever the fuck, but we'll get to
I
that
don't
later.
think he deflects it. I think it just kind of fizzles out before it gets
I
to
don't think that makes sense. I think there's something else going on. That's why he has 7 rings.
If I could take the match or the flame from
That
like,
isn't-
the lighter,
That is a
that,
spoiler topic for sure. But I like where your head's at, but that's definitely a spoiler topic.
It's the Tom Brady of diddling women over here. Like, it's not good. Murdering, I guess. Maybe not. Well, I don't know.
it's weird to me that Valda's still alive and he's not public enemy number 1 of an entire nation.
Again, all right. So let's say he's got something that stops the one power.
That's a
Sure,
solid point too.
but he's so easily done over by the fact that there's. Oh, you burned other things in the room. Fuck. Who would have thought?
That's not what does him over. It's Perrin fucking
Perrin's weird
getting
eyes.
free and golden eyes.
Yes. Like Aes Sedai didn't think of like, oh, I can't hurt him directly. I won't just, I don't know, grab his desk and just nail him with it. I won't take the sword out of the sheath and cut
He
him
might
with
have
it.
recovered, but he got stabbed in the back.
Yeah.
Because Egwene's
Yeah.
a badass.
It
Because
doesn't.
Queen is a badass. Agreed.
And then
Sure,
the wolves,
we'll call
and then
it
the
that.
wolves attack.
Again, Jono, I have so many things to say, but I can't say them right now. Egwene and Perrin escape.
Escape. What's with all these
Um,
huskies? It's odd.
Those are actual wolves. The wolves are friendly. Okay, they won't. Okay, they won't hurt us. That one white cloak gets his face ripped off. I wrote fucking awesome.
I actually wanted to see more of that.
Also, I read my first note like a weird robot. I wrote
Queen is husky.
no. I said the wolves are friendly, and like he goes, the wolves are friendly, and like Egwene's like, what the fuck? And he goes, all right, maybe they just won't hurt us. I don't know. They're not friendly. They're growling at them too. And I was just like, that was pretty funny.
Talking.
Oh, we're back. So we're with Moraine and Leandrin in the halls talking. We're talking.
Yeah. Where's the knave? Whatever.
Dead guys.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. It's a weird chapter.
Actually, he was bothering me in the show. He was just always behind Valda, like smiling and kind of just like really zealously punching the Tinkers. I was like, what? Bravo. Rip that guy's face off.
hate
I love it.
people that smile. It's the worst. Glad he's dead.
Smiling in the background, Tom. It's worse.
So we find out here that Moraine's been gone for 2 years. That's the last time she was there. And that they describe Nynaeve as a prize just for being brought in, which is a very interesting, if you find like you find a girl on the side
Yeah,
of
if
the
you find a strong channeler and you make her a novice, it's like a little it's like turning in a really good book report.
and here's another
You get a gold star. You get a gold star.
I like Tom's response, by the way, was both right and wrong. Yes, that's the right face, and yes, Joe is correct. That's a weird book report. Especially if she's brownish on, I guess. again, and maybe it's because I'm just desperately horny at all times. This also seemed like a weirdly sexual. Like it seems like Rafe is having a good time putting every woman together almost and making it just
There's
slightly...
a lot of sexual undertones in this. In every chat that could just be a talk, there's a lot of sexual undertones.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Like Leandrin reaches out and touches Moraine, and I was just like, "Don't touch her, you bitch!" And then I was like, "Oh, wait."
Even Matt and the little girl on the farm.
I'm not in Sunny.
No, wait, that's not right.
But after she was dead.
Yeah. We know what gets him going.
Yeah. Yeah. I was sitting there. I also thought that like it was Steppen when he walked into Nynaeve's briefly. I was like, is this like he's drunk in the middle of the day? It seems like he's holding something. Yeah, pillow friend energy for sure. Yes, Nick.
Yeah.
I actually got really creepy vibes off him when he went in to get that tea from her.
I did too. I was like,
I thought we were about to watch a rape scene. Like, no shit. Like, for real. Is it getting really weird in here?
That's Rafe. Rafe is the director.
I guess he was just planning. He was already planning.
He's the showrunner
at that point, and that's why it was bizarre. But I was like, I don't like.
I was really uncomfortable.
Are you talking about Lan and Steppen?
Well, I guess
when he goes to get the tea, I was like, this whole exchange it felt weird. I felt uncomfortable watching it.
Yeah.
Well, so the Moraine and the Leandrin discussion, just to wrap it up real fast, is them discussing Nynaeve and basically saying like, she's like, well, you're not going to be here because you always run off, and maybe she'll be a Red Aja because you won't be here to mentor her, and she'll need a mentor. And then she's like, I don't know.
I do love
maybe she will, maybe she won't.
Yeah, you know, like odds are the first thing she did was heal a man because they kind of had a relationship. Probably not going to be a Red
maybe we
Aja.
both won't be here for very long.
Yeah. Steppen and Lan.
So we have real quick. Steppen makes offerings. Lan stays with him tonight. I wrote offers him a massage, but it was the way he was like, everything's gonna be okay, and he just grabs his shoulder. He's like, I'll stay with you tonight. And I was like, all right.
Also sexual. All right, let's go with it. And then also there's I've never had a guy or two guys or three guys.
I thought you were going to talk about the Forsaken statues that they discussed briefly.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's
for him.
I mean, that is what I want to talk about.
I think it's fascinating. I like the religious kind of creation here, and it's spoiler fun.
Hmm?
What?
Oh yeah, it's fun for spoil. Oh yeah, later. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you this.
What do we got here? What do we got here? This is.
What is this? What is
Wait, we'll talk about that later. Moraine and Alana, sorry. I misspoke. Moraine and Alana basically discussed like, hey, you have a lot of secrets. You should probably talk to somebody. You've got a lot of enemies.
That's all you have to say? Alana shows up in Moraine's quarters, takes her boots off, sits in her bed barefoot with a plate of food and cuts it up and eats it. Gross. And then Moraine is down on the bed with her boots on? What the fuck are you doing? Go to a table and chairs.
I do like how Moraine is like, what's the point of this conversation unless you've made this your cafeteria, so to speak, like kind of thing. Like she basically goes like, do you eat in here all the time, or are you here for a fucking reason? Because this is weird.
Get the fuck out of here, you barefoot plate of food person. There's a table over there.
We just had the weirdest peep in on Tom's sex life when Lindsay comes home, like, she's got shoes on, like, you get the fuck out of here. What the fuck do you think you're doing? I just
I'm in a hotel room right now, and if you showed up to like, we're gonna go out and get beers, but like first you came over to the McDonald's and you like just kicked your shoes off and sat on the bed barefoot to like eat a hamburger, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of my room.
To Drab's point, and what we said earlier, Moraine said her home is the saddle of her whores.
You still got to sleep on that
and Lan by her side. Also, Brando said long ago they were close from some Amazon character profile on Leandrin talking about Moraine. Okay.
Long
ago they were close. Yeah. That's some Pillow Friends things going
Boots
on
there,
which is very weird.
I can't wait to discuss her. Moraine's gilded clock sounds like a euphemism, but I hope those ears are lubed up. I can't wait to hear what you think that is.
Let's get to Lan waking up from his.
Is it a clock?
Yeah.
So Lan gets roofied.
All right. Well, whoa. First,
Yeah.
I wrote Stephen Flory's land.
Florian.
And that's when they say I've never been with a man, but I'm into it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, tell me about the wisdom. And he's like, well, no, she shouldn't love me. And he's like, well, maybe she should. You know, it's a weird conversation. But look at that fucking grin as he's about to drink the Flory. Something happened here.
Do you think if Lan had told him like a little more sexual stuff, like Stephen wouldn't have killed himself?
Not at all. No.
I think that's why Lan's screaming at the end of the episode.
I should have told her about her vagina.
Oh, man. All right.
He woke up in the morning with a size 5 poop shoot. What movie is that from?
Real life.
Find Stephen's body as my last note here.
It's interesting. Like, so Shanda, you know, who obviously is a fake person, thought briefly that he was worried that Stephen had gone to kill Nynaeve or something. Like he had grabbed a knife, because where he ends up, again, all the quarters seem very similar. It appears to be right outside Nynaeve's where she was staying, and like, you know, the way he ran, and then once he sees his body,
it's in the warder's quarters.
Yeah,
the rural juror.
Yeah, the warder's.
It's in the warder's quarters.
Warder's quarters.
It does seem a little bit kind of, and the way he stops. Like he stops once he sees the body, and then sees the blood and kind of recoils. Now maybe that's just kind of like, you know, shock versus, oh fuck yeah, now it's confirmed. But again, maybe you know, she's a woman, so obviously she has to be wrong. If I didn't have the same impression, it's her fault. But
you're a good man. You're a good man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we try to be honest to the brand. But that makes sense. Like I don't think that she's. I had that kind of same impression too. Like that, there was something off. Like Tom and I had the same rapey vibe early, and then instead he commits, like, you know, Harry Carey just outside her door. The ultimate expression of love. Thank you.
I mean, it's not outside her doors. I think that's the main doors into like the warder quarters.
They did a shitty job then. The warder quarter door
anymore.
I didn't even mean to say it again. It just happened.
Saying normal. It's hilarious.
Warder
sorry.
quarter
We'll just
door.
cut to Aram.
Yeah.
That's a warder's quarter.
Anyway. Oh man,
I could be mid coitus and see that and just stop and just like.
You guys thought so much about the end of the show, and I never got past barefoot on the bed.
Anyway, God damn it, we have so much to talk about. Let's just wrap this up.
Do we?
Stephen funeral. Nynaeve is there. It's weird, and then we get this, which we can discuss.
I hate this scene.
I mean, God, so much to say. But
I appreciate the emotionality.
I can only go into this in spoiler territory. I can't talk about it here. Spoilers.
I appreciate the emotions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Switch it over to spoilers for fuck's sake.
Joe,
let's talk about ratings.
Joe, Billy's names.
Yeah, let's talk about. We got to talk about ratings.
How many Billy's names, Joe?
Ratings. I have to say, I'm gonna give this. A 7.
Tom,
and that's only because Loyal saved this episode for me.
Yeah, I think I'm on 7.5 Billy Zanes.
I'm at 6.
All right, 7. Yeah, 7 Billy Zanes, 7.5 Billy, 6 Billy Zanes.
6 Billy Zanes. This is my least favorite episode. Again, as the ubiquitous caveat, I love that this exists. It's like Christmas every fucking week. I'm so fucking delighted. It does not suck. It does not suck. But this episode was the worst episode.
Just leave it up.
I mean,
Johnny's head is exactly where his rating is. That's Johnny. That's what you have to do every week. You have to put your head on the rating.
6.9 Billy Zanes out of 10 for Brando. I mean,
I'll take 6.9.
You know what? I'll do 7.3 Billy Zanes out of 10.
7.3? You're going up?
No, I was at 7.5.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm in a solid 7, and I think.
Are we talking about dick inches?
Yeah.
If we're talking about Billy Zane's dick, this scale's not big enough.
Because guess what?
Well,
I'm back down to a 4.
after 10 inches, it just bursts into flame, Tom.
You're drawing too much in. Yeah, but back. Let's get into the spoiler stuff because
Yeah, I threw it. Wait, the small graphics still up there wrong.
All right, finally, I want to go first. I'm sad that Lan is not in this.
Wait, what? Okay,
spoilers.
Go. Spoilers for the TV show and the books.
It's driving me insane. I just want to finally say it. It's a shame that Lan's not on the TV show.
Well, I need a break.
You want to take a break?
Your fucking beard. Tom and I can talk about this for 20 fucking minutes.
No, I could take a break too. Why don't we do it?
I'd rather get another beer.
All right, Taffy, we love you.
I still watch that with just glee on my face. It's insane, and I love it very, very much. Joe, you're on mute still.
Oh,
mute. You're on.
I said, "Oh, hi."
Yeah. Yeah, it just fucking kills me to watch that Taffy.
I mean, it's the best.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're in spoiler territory. So
Fucking finally, Jesus Christ.
yeah, I mean, Jono, just go wherever you want to go. Go.
I mean, I don't know. It's like sex. Do I want to start at the front? Do I want to start at the back? I don't fucking know. All I know is
You want to start at the the campfire.
the do you want to talk about how they don't know how to bury a corpse?
No.
Spoiler: they're very bad at it. Oh, we already covered that. I don't know where to fucking start. I think I don't love what they did with Loyal, just in general. I think
All right,
that,
so let's talk about Loyal for a second.
right, let's get to it. It's not the height issue. It's not. I don't need
I mean,
that.
he's big. He's tall. He's towering over Rand, who is a tall man, but he's not big enough.
Well, technically, Rand's not tall enough. Like they've done a weird thing.
Well, yeah,
I think,
but I mean,
but they've done this weird shit from the Auspice, right? That there's a certain accent of Two Rivers people. There's a certain look of Aiel, right? Red equals Aiel no matter what. I don't notice any discernible accent really for the Two Rivers people, but they've also put themselves in this weird cage where anything with red hair, even if I dye my pubes, I have to be Aiel. Like they've kind of and Loyal is pretty much one of the most knowledgeable people, or individuals, not people, out there, right? So if he says this type of hair, well, I guess more this type, is Aiel, then it must be. And that's weird considering I think one of the things they did beautifully for the series is bring out different, diversity in a very good way for the most part, and make it kind of we have this here, this here, this here, this here, but those motherfucking gingers apparently they exist in man, head.
only the Aiel waist.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense from either a truth. We know that there's a lot of gingers throughout the royal Camelin kind of area, and as well as the fact that they could have gone anywhere. That's where thank you, Keith. Loyal needs to leave.
Again, we said this earlier, but the actor was great.
Perfect.
I feel like the prosthetics were
shit.
Again, restrictive. But I mean, they're prosthetics, so it's how much can I don't know. Did they have the time and the budget? The CGI on top of real prosthetics might have added a little bit of wrinkles into the skin, or movement in the brow, or something more than make them a little more expressive.
It looked like a dude
that's
wearing
the parts that I'm taking away. I thought he did a pretty good job. I liked Loyal a lot.
I thought everything about his demeanor and acting was perfect, but everything about visually.
He even rambled. Rand was I gotta go, and he's well, hold on, let me gather my things.
Yeah, perfect. I would have liked Rand.
Perfect.
I would like Rand to be a little bit kinder to him, almost, because Rand is supposed to be.
Rand's always been a dick to Loyal.
No, not really. Rand is early Rand. After
someone asked for that, John.
Yeah, took a while. But after Rand first time draws his sword, he's very apologetic. He feels bad about kind of over promising at first when Moraine comes. He doesn't want to fuck over a friend, someone who's been kind to him, especially considering where Matt is. Is Jono not saying a horrible thing? He is. Don't worry. Come on. We'll go with that just to kind of, make a marker. But it's
do you think they were giving him tree-like skin, Tappy? I don't know if you're serious or not.
That's the worst tree-like skin since that tree outside.
I thought he looked pretty good in terms of I don't know, just
tree-like skin.
What the fuck are they supposed to look like? I've never seen a good picture of them, and I've tried to paint them myself. It's hard, you know what I mean? The descriptions of the book are all over the fucking place. It's so crazy.
Teacup?
Tea saucer eyes? Do you know how big that is? It's insane. Nothing makes any sense. So it's just
Well, there's also the fact is that the best representation, unfortunately, might be the cover of book 2, which is the weirdest thing.
You know what? I've said this to you before, but the ebook cover of book 2, unlike a lot of the other ebook covers, like just took book 2's cover and like made it good.
Yeah, Tom, we're shitting on Loyal.
Yeah, I know. It's the D&D guide is the best representation of Loyal with that giant head.
I agree. Yeah. But I mean, like, so the ebook cover of book 2 is the normal book cover or book cover of 2, and it like just paints Loyal in a better light. He's larger. He looks more like what you would expect, but it's kind of blurry in the background, so like you can only take away so much. I liked his like sausage fingers. You know, I just thought those just were big stiff. And like, I don't know, his voice was fucking amazing. He's perfect. Like the actor was perfect. Like, I don't know. I thought he was good. I just wish he was a little taller.
Did you wish he was a baller? I didn't have any problems with Loyal except for like it would just be nitpicks, I guess. Like I thought it was great. And it was almost like word for word from the book, the introduction. I loved it.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I thought that they were pretty good, and other than again, visually representation, everything else about him was perfect, except I guess also the persimmon. Is it persimmon?
It's persimmons.
Persimmons.
Yeah, it's persimmons. Fuck, that was I
think that's just showing that we're ignorant of the way people say it in other parts of the world, but I don't care. It was
maybe
really threw me off.
Very possibly.
Yeah, I always had a persimmon, but aren't there persimmons from the South? I don't fucking know, but also thank God there's 3 dudes here who do not sound Southern at all. I don't know what their accents are, but yeah.
Are you guys? Once in a while I get like, oh, you have Southern accent. I'm like, what are you talking about? That happens in the North sometimes.
What?
Yeah,
that's never happened to me, Tom. That doesn't make any sense.
Are you guys at all concerned that Perrin's not going to have permanently yellow eyes?
Well, let's talk about
it. Like, first off, that's a crazy image. It just looks amazing. That freeze frame, it looks like the cover from some like weird I don't know, I got a fucking Disney movie going on.
Disney movie?
Disney movie?
Like a cover for a metal album or something, maybe.
I was like, what the fuck? I wrote Perrin Golden Eyes. Let's discuss.
I think when you were a kid, your parents showed you porn and told you they were Disney movies.
All right, let's discuss Perrin Golden Eyes. Let's get all your Perrin venting out.
My only venting is, I swear to Christ, if his eyes don't go permanently yellow, I'm going to be pretty upset about it.
Agreed. And I would. So here's what I'm thinking. It's a steady transition, a slower transition, like kind of thing. And like maybe eventually he's just like talking to wolves all the time, or always.
I don't hate that.
So his eyes are golden all the. But if it doesn't go that direction, I will be upset. I mean, like
there's the caveat there, right? Yeah,
and like it's because this initial introduction to it, I was like, oh, come on, like kind of, and then I was like, all right, whoa, slow down, Joe, give it time,
I was ready to be mad, and then I was like, no, you know what, it'll happen later.
I don't hate this part really as much as you would have thought, considering my massive issues with everything else. But I think that it's kind of interesting. It's confusing, I guess, to a certain extent, of why the wolves would want to save him, unless we find out that the wolves have some sort of like massive predilection and interest into the idea of like there being more golden-eyed men, whatever you want to call it, wolf brothers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think the only issue is, why do the wolves care that much, and why have they cared for longer than he would have any? Because we don't see into his thoughts. We don't really get a good reason for them to really care that much.
It's because he becomes a wolf man once he gets bit by the werewolf Sherlock.
That is still the best.
We all know that.
And then they're brothers.
We all know that. That's an obvious one.
That's actually a spoiler for the show. Not the books. You're gonna learn that in episode like 7 or 8.
So I do like the little hints of like the wolves
probably
howling in the background. I don't know if you noticed, but every time they cut back to Egwene and Perrin, it's like there's subtle howling of wolves. Like
I didn't have it in volume 1. Yeah, I noticed.
I just wrote like, will they slowly stay golden? They fucking better. I love the wolves howling in the night every time it cuts back to them. I mean, like we could rant and rave about this all we want, but until we see more evidence, I have a hard time going like they did it wrong, like
yeah, I'm fine with that.
I wanted those eyes gold when they were running through the darkened camp. Like that would have been a good time to let's get that started. And also, basically, after this is when they're gold. Like maybe we discover it. Literally, we could find out in the first 30 seconds in the next episode. It could be the cold open, then he wakes up with gold eyes. I don't fucking know.
I liked Joe's
that's
idea.
true.
I like Joe's idea because, like, to a certain extent,
If they keep it gradual, still, I won't be upset.
Yeah.
It's just
exactly.
I want it to be more and more. Like if it's season 4 and his eyes are golden all the time, fine.
Fine,
kind of thing.
yeah. It's because like of all the people, like he realized his power the first because his power was 100% blunt to a certain extent. But Brando's asking about CGI in the eyes the whole time, and maybe the context.
So, I mean, this is a valid thought process. So, like,
color
can they
context
CGI the eyes the whole time? Can they do contacts? Maybe the contacts look like shit. This is a good. I mean, that might be the reason, and like it might just be a practical like. You can't do this like the whole goddamn time. But I feel like if they put contacts in, and for most of the far away shots, it was just contacts. And for the close up shots, they added a little CGI. Problem solved. They do. Regardless,
though, like the powers themselves, like he's fully manifested or fully molested. That's not right. In like book 1, really by the end of it, right? He can talk to, he can call wolves, that kind of thing, and
Yeah. And they only turn gold when he has a boner, and we all know that boner
is red.
Is a red rocket.
Yeah, so not gold.
Red lipstick.
So like there's that kind of like weird juxtaposition, whereas all the other characters are slowly moving into it, where Perrin's real issue with his power is keeping it at arm's length because of what happens in the real, White Cloak tents, or I guess before the tents in book 1, where he kills those two. It's like that's really kind of like his issue, right? After that, he can smell fear, he can do this, he can make minstrel jokes, so that's me. Like that kind of thing. Like so, like maybe this is their way of kind of staving off all of that kind of overindulgence almost, because like really realistically, if he just dived headfirst into it, he could have been the best wolf brother ever.
Yeah, they're amping it up. Are you kidding? They've had him murder his wife. He's going to be even more violence than being a wolf.
I think the whole murdering Layla storyline was, and fuck, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with us, but we didn't mention it in the show, but like he basically confesses to Egwene.
Oh yeah, that was.
We talked about it too much. It was going.
I know, yeah, well, there was a lot going on there, but like he confesses to Egwene that he killed Layla, and like revealing to Egwene that he, at least to Egwene, that he is, in his eyes, a murderer.
Yeah. I think that we should really give credit. Like Tom, like should we give more credit to the questioners? Like that's an elaborate ruse to really bring out a confession, right? Like, that's
that's all it was.
That's all it was.
We knew Egwene was just some chick from the Two Rivers.
I was confused that if Valda's so convinced that Egwene can channel, but he's like, but if you don't do it, then I'll just kill him and let you go. I'm like, that doesn't really seem like the right thing to do.
Well, maybe he'll actually believe her. The questioner, the White Cloaks are so fucked up and weird in so many times in the book. So like, maybe he will actually believe her if she doesn't channel and watches him get murdered. Maybe he'll be like, "Fuck, I was wrong. My mistake. You're free to go."
I don't want to see Valda eat another thing for the rest of the fucking series. Can we be done with this? You're not Brad Pitt. Like you don't have to eat in every scene. Like it's really gross. It's freaking me out.
By the way, so I've been keeping like a tally of Rand clues, so I need to run through them real quick because we got a bunch in this episode. Rand clue number 3, that mountain, I've seen it before. How? That's a big one. I mean, again, we can discuss these in detail, but I'm just going to run through them real quick. Rand clue number 4, Loyal refuses to understand that he's not an Aiel man. He's like, I'm not an Aiel man. And he's like, oh, an Aiel man from the Two Rivers who pretends he's not an Aiel man. You're very interesting. And the key even says it out loud. What's that?
How long would that have gone on if Frank kept saying something? Man. Would Perrin have Loyal just kept piling up?
I know. I would have just loved to see that scene.
Like a memory game.
I'm from the Two Rivers. Oh, an Aiel man that says he's from the Two Rivers has a sword, also pretending to not be an Aiel man.
Incredible.
I've never even met an Aiel man. An Aiel man who's never met an Aiel man who's from the Two Rivers with us. God.
Anyway, Rand clue number 5. Padan Fain is there, but not until after Rand passes by, the way. I don't know. Matt's up on the balcony. That section of the city is empty. That little alcove is empty. Rand walks by, goes up to see Matt.
They're going out of their way now,
Fane's
like, hey, new viewer, it's Matt for sure, right? Do you get it?
Yeah,
It's
but at the
Matt.
same time, like, so yeah, that was a real quick, like, you see that space, he's not there. You see it 2 seconds later, he's there, but it's after Rand has walked by to go.
I love it. I that whistling has gone. It's kind of chipper. It's kind of fun, but it's fucking creepy knowing that it's that dude who was so fucking. He's only had that little time on screen. Patton Fan has.
Mhm.
But he's done that character justice very, very well.
He's not as bedraggled as I would want him to be at this point. I mean, he was like fucked up at this point in Came Lin. You know, so like if this is mirroring Came Lin, like I would wish he was like a little more like, I'm going crazy, and like, you know, his clothes are in tatters, he's covered in dirt, you know,
But
something.
technically, when it comes to Tar Valon in Book 5, which we just did the intro to in the prologue for what podcast was it?
The Wheel Reads.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I was trying to get Tom's input too for the next part, and oh well, then dick you. And so, like, you know, again, if we marry Book 1, Book 5, this is what he looks like. Not too bedraggled, but still whistling around.
All right. Well, Rand clue number 6. We got a 6th clue in this single episode, or this is 6 total.
Yeah.
But Logain stares at them, not just Matt. I mean, how much? And I wrote how much of that is Matt's paranoia, but we kind of touched on that earlier. But if you guys want,
I love this part. Yeah.
I'm glad they kept it.
Yeah, I think it was one of my favorite parts that really didn't exist because it was almost revisionary, right? In Book 1, Rand is in Camelin, like, you know, kind of running away from Peyton Fane. Oh, good to see you. Like when Logain's coming through, like he's got the best spot because he's tall, and then he runs the fuck away because he sees the beggar coming through in Camelin.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know, he climbs up onto you know, the wall, which he falls into the palace, but it doesn't see close enough Logain. But then we get Logain's point of view, I think in Book 5, maybe 4 or 5 in Saladar. And like Logain's talking about, like, I saw him once, right? I died laughing knowing what he would be. Like, well, where the fuck did he ever see that, right? There's never any sort of like reason to believe that was true. And now here it is. It gets really cool as shit. I will do that work assignment tomorrow.
That was me.
Hey, thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Or thanks, man. What about this?
Oh, there you go.
There you go, Erwin.
Yeah. Just
I don't know. How long does this take?
Just give him a minute.
show him the mustard. Show him the mustard.
All right. We've done it. That would have been a great way to end the episode, guys.
You know, we've done that.
We have so much more to talk about.
What's more?
Oh my god, I have so much more to talk about.
So much more. Joe, you go next.
I'll give you another 10 minutes.
You sound like your mom.
Well, real quick, I do want to address Goatee's comment here. Did you miss the first time when he whistled as they entered the inn? I didn't miss it, but I couldn't get a screen grab of it. It's 1 millisecond long.
I think you just said screen McGrab.
I couldn't get the screen grab. You know, I couldn't get a Niviave.
Hey, you guys excited for the new MacGruber movie? Show? Let's go. Next topic. I'm excited.
Yeah, of course I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all
Yes.
Here comes the part where we ask each other what the license plate number is, and we think about it for 5 minutes, and we can't get it, but we just laugh and laugh and laugh, and then we laugh ourselves out, and then we get back to talking about the show.
It's all right. I mean, just bringing it up already made me laugh. Yeah. You should see me during sex when Shanna's like, "Do you want to?" And I go, "Oh, oh, oh." Come. I do want to do that, but I have to wait.
All right. What else? What else you guys got? Lightning round.
I don't like anything in the last third of the fucking episode. Almost. Like, it's hard to know how much to shit on something, right? It's like a woman. Yeah. Like, it depends on their thresholds and what you've had to eat.
I liked the whole show in a vacuum.
Yeah.
I don't live in a vacuum, so I'm like, you know, it's hard to completely divorce myself from the that's not Lan at all. Like, why is he crying and screaming and gnashing his teeth and constantly going up and holding Moraine's hand? Like, what the fuck is happening?
I hate it to a certain extent. Again, I love the show. I mean, I'm just excited it's there, but at the same time, I hate this, and it makes me really question what the fuck are they building up to. Like, there's nothing wrong with having like a stoic man who bleeds on the inside. That's kind of almost a wonderfully, maybe we should talk about that kind of trait and trope, right? That's probably does more for like if we're trying to kind of broaden the principles. Go for it. But in this case, like, why? I don't know. There, like a billion fucking words that could be said that all which just suck, right?
It's the one bummer that we're finally getting the show, and we're never going to see that character brought to life.
Not correctly, and I think the actor himself could probably pull it out really fucking well.
I think the actor is crushing it. And I think
I do too. I think
he's like the character on the show. That's just not him. Like
I think the actor could do it too. I don't think he has a problem staying that kind of stoic and keeping that like the very not that I have the right face for it at all. But keeping that just plain stony face. And not reacting to shit. Like he's done it a number of times with other characters.
Even going back to when the last episode when he's training with Stepan, it appeared they were equals. Even that like bothered me. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, that's also. I don't know. There's like they didn't. We've talked about it for like a long time, right? Like, does it really seem like they've got the handbrake on Lan already? They got the handbrake on all the warders. They have like this kind of. How many times have we wanted to see this just let go? Right? You can see 8 million fucking words.
Chat like a comment from our Discord, so you guys could read it, or so I could read it out loud rather.
Go for it.
Hello, Sunmaid, who's theoretically still watching. Lan, it looks like Lan. It looks like the funeral ceremony is inspired by grieving ceremonies in Asian Eastern cultures where specific people are designated to do the crying, wailing, etc. He was pretty stoic until he was told to release the group's collective grief, also heightened by whatever is passing between him and Moraine through the bond. Probably a bit too over the top, but showing the emotional of the ritual is something that Lan would do, I think. So like again, I don't understand. So that's something I would never have picked up on because I don't.
I think it makes sense
the world, and I would never have put that together.
That they're showing in the show. I just don't think it's a character from the book.
Well, let's go with the middle ground, right? Let's go with the middle ground. Yeah. I think that you're both right? Like Tom. Obviously, I'm 100% on board. That's not the character from the book. Yeah. But let's say that societal norms have changed for the show. Then tell us, right? Like the show needs to do a combination of giving due deference to both new people and to leaders. So if you're gonna do that, mention that, right? Like mention like what happens at a warder ceremony is this, like that kind of thing. Like there was plenty of opportunity. They were at a statue. Why not just mention this is what happens when you give like when a warder dies, we do this.
Well, it's because it's a TV show. You're supposed to show and not say. Yeah. I mean, like that's a normal thing. That's a normal way of running a show. Well, guess what?
To my mind, to this
from
simple
a standpoint, Lan showing that much emotion was jarring, and it brought me out of the granted, and I didn't have the immediate cultural reference to go, oh, well, they're obviously doing this, kind of thing. So it's not that it's a bad thing that they're doing that. It's just that I didn't immediately go, that's what they're doing. So there was a disconnect there. So for me as a book reader watching that scene, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Why is he doing this? It's so contrary.
It's correct. That's totally fine. But again, the issue is not just this is what they do. How was Lan was already in private with just him and Moraine, grabbing her hand and kind of.
So that's where I will go back to as a hill to die on, so to speak. That scene, based on a ritual in Asian culture that I don't understand. Fair enough. I didn't get it. It was immediate. Yeah. It was something that I didn't get. But I'm basing this scene off of a reaction that I've had of Lan as a character from a book reader standpoint, that is like, but based on like him laughing with Moraine on the road, and like just him laughing is fucked up. Like him like showing like that's so weird. Like Lan doesn't laugh. Like they like made it a point in the books to be like, Nynaeve's like, he laughed the other day, and they're like, what? You know, like kind of thing. Like
he has more personality.
But maybe I'm reading too much into it.
Than I expect him to have 10 years after the last battle, when he's like happily married with children, like finally like getting past Instead, I'm just like.
So that being said, I was talking to.
He doesn't have the
someone
issues.
That
Where are
was,
his issues?
I don't know.
He seems to have friends and loving relationships. Like he's ready to date Nynaeve like right off the bat. He's just like, let's go. It seems like a totally well-adjusted guy that's like really feels his emotions really, really well. I'm like, who the fuck
next you're gonna tell me he's not riddled with STDs and fucked someone when he was 12? Like that's not right.
It's just it's just weird. Like
So Drab's pulling this comment back from The Great Hunt. Moraine permits herself a small smile before cracking the walls Lan holds so hard she compares his eyes widening to another man gasping in shocked surprise. So this is the kind of like statements that are written into books over and over and over again that like are drilled into our brains. So like when we see like Lan just going, your home is the horse, you know, like as they're walking into Tar Valon, you're like, why did he just chuckle? Like, what the fuck is going on? You know, like what a weird, maybe in private, maybe in super private, but like they're surrounded by people on horseback and like all around them. And it's like, it's very jarring.
If they're going to make him a well-adjusted, jovial guy, can we at least have him be, and the warders themselves, like fucking badasses? Because they just seem like normal guys that are just best friends with a bunch of ladies.
I'm so annoyed.
Fair enough. Yeah.
What have the warders done that have impressed you? We've had them now for like 2 episodes with a bunch of them fighting a war. Like it should have been fucking incredible. Like as incredible sword fighting as the Aes Sedai were using the power, and instead they were like,
they were. They seem warders as a whole seem a little nerfed. You know, like they don't seem like as scary as they should.
With Lan, a whole 5 episodes, I should feel like he could beat just about anybody that he went head to head with, and instead I'm just like, I feel like if he went to fight Valda, like I don't know who wins.
Yeah, and I've never even seen Valda hold his sword. We've never seen Valda hold his sword.
I do have a comment, and like so a lot of our comments in the comment section are spoilers and people that have read the books. I was talking to somebody today that's just walked up to me and was like, holy shit, I'm so fucking in. Like hasn't read the books at all. Like just like they know I love the Wheel of Time, so they're like talking to me about the show, and they're like, I caught up on the Wheel of Time. It's so fucking good. Blah 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 blah. And then I was like, yeah, and we were talking about like minutia, and this is a person that kind of doesn't mind mild spoilers. And I was like, well, Lan is kind of supposed to be more stoic and like very like Batman like, and like just like you know, like and like not reveal what he's thinking or feeling, and like you know that kind of thing. Where are the other drugs going? You know. But like, so the point is, his one comment was, I don't know, he's coming across pretty fucking stoic, and I was like, interesting. And this is after watching episode 5, so I'm like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, like, so if this person is like seeing him the way that we see him, maybe we're just too close to this, and like we're not seeing it for.
Who was that person?
I mean,
who was that fucking piece of shit?
He was. He's the vice president that I work with.
I am loving the show. All that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am just ranting, like for the sake of like I do want. We need some freedom to express like the book lovers part.
No, and I think that objectivity. Like, there's nothing worse than like just being like.
I love the TV show.
Yes, but we have to be able to be objective, which we're not because we're pieces of shit. But like we have to be able to say like, love the show, glad it's there, but I fucking hate what you're doing here, or you know what, I enjoy it for its own sake, but it's not what I want. Because I love the fact that it's an adaptation, right? We have to remember the word adaptation because that's what frogs. Yeah. Like we're very excited the fact that this exists and it's different. Otherwise, it'd be really goddamn.
Oh god, it'd be so fucking boring if it was the same. Yeah, so like it being different is fun. Yeah, that for sure.
Yeah, but on the other hand, stop fucking up.
We've talked about this a lot. Do you guys want to talk about a few other notes? Should I run them fast?
Lightning fast.
No, Tom's got plenty of time. He just texted us saying, "quote I have 16 hours before I have to wrap up.
I mean, I could just
good. 16 hours.
Yeah,
Then we're good to go, I guess, right?
I'm just gonna punch my computer.
All right, let's talk about this. Tom.
All right, Tarvalon as a city, as a whole.
I thought it looked good at night. Looked amazing at night.
Yeah, that looked fucking crazy.
Not saying it looked bad in the daytime. I just thought it looked beautiful when they did that night shot.
I agree completely. And also Dragonmount still smoldering in the background. Fucking very cool. I liked it a lot.
I loved it. I think that the size actually makes sense. I'm not 100% in favor of all of the dynamics technically of the city. I want the one I want the one tower. Wow, apparently. I want the tower to be a little more like itself thrusting as opposed to its two testicle friends. But at the same time, I guess it really doesn't matter because it is a tower out of
this the whole time.
Yeah.
I felt like they had a lot of birds for sale. More than I expected.
I mean, what do you expect on Diagon Alley, Tom?
Rape was very confused what hawkers meant and thought they were all selling hawks. Like, not just trying to sell shit.
Oh my God, what if that happened? I mean, everybody's reading the books when they're self-designing. That would have been, that's incredible. I think that's what happened for real.
Anyway, all right. So this is a serious question. I don't know how much time we have to dive into it. Does it seem like Nynaeve will have her block? Because they haven't really mentioned it, and
yes,
she did mention the breakbone fever, so it does seem like she's channeled before, and maybe it's going to be difficult for her to channel.
That
later.
has to be what that is, right?
Do you think it's going to be there, or do you think it's going to be like a Matt Dagger storyline, and they'll whip through that real fast or something?
I don't think they're done with the Matt Dagger storyline. And also, yes, she was angry when she healed everybody in the cave.
That's true. Tom's right there. I mean, honestly, there has the block theory, the block timeline and the plot line adds so much to her anger issues, which are there, but not aggressively so. I think that's probably better that there's not the way that they're downplayed a bit, and that plot line also kind of adds to the love-hate relationship of her with Aes Sedai, because realistically, there's not too many reasons to hate the Aes Sedai so far. So Brando's saying in a behind-the-scenes video, Rosamund says that Nynaeve is only able to channel when she's really feeling strong emotions.
That works.
By the way, that's
same thing. But also, Drap said breakbone fever was Nynaeve healing. We know that, but also, but But is that going to be?
Is that going to be canon
in the show?
Is that canon in the show? I hope so, for the simple fact that honestly, we watched 55 minutes of shit that I don't care as much about. I mean, I cared about all of it, but I would have loved to have sacrificed that breakbone story for something else. If that breakbone story does not involve long-term her having healed a queen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because
I don't think that breakbone story will ever come up again, even if the show ran 20 seasons.
Well, then I fucking hate this.
I mean, I don't see why it would.
Because it's...
Rand, remember that story I told you that one time? I was thinking about it, and I might have been channeling.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, though, is it's how she gets to Baerlon. Oh, God damn it. She doesn't go to Baerlon.
Well, originally... Yeah, that's how.
Yeah, that's how she gets to Baerlon. I'm joking.
So,
and that's how Moraine figures out that she did that.
They repurposed that story. All right, well, rapid fire. 4 more minutes.
So other things I'd like to mention.
We got to do your 5 questions. So
I don't have any.
So, Jono, continue.
Okay.
I gave up.
Okay. 5 dumb stories. I still really hate the fact that there's no the fact that Children of the Light are this goddamn close to Tarvalon frustrated the fuck out of me.
It's
right?
insane.
It's insane. It's massively just bizarre to me. Even if they're feeling cocky as fuck, they would never get that close. Like for their own,
or you're that close, you're going to be under watch. You're not just attacking people traveling to the city with impunity.
Yeah, to your point, actually, they actually do come that close later on in the books under Edom and Valda, different one. Not a questioner, but what do? It's like they don't attack people, they don't steal people, and there are they kind of ready to run the fuck away instantly.
Yeah.
I still can't get over how brazenly they just killed Aes Sedai, and like they're not at war at this point with the entire country of Amadicio.
I mean, I feel like that's like
Dick.
hinted at in the books, and
Dick,
it's
yeah.
just never like discussed. You mean Amendick?
They always do it in the shadows or from a distance, and I don't think they claim credit for it necessarily, like because otherwise.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's
power.
privately claiming credit. It's not like they're swinging rings around on a flagpole.
He's walking
Like,
around.
"Woo!"
Well, one guy is.
I mean, he has it in his.
Even involved between Ric Flair.
How many Aes Sedai are walking into that tent and be like, "Hey, wait a minute, how many of you killed?" Anyway, predictions for next episode. Min?
Yes.
I stopped doing predictions because what I said earlier about social media, like we're doing predictions here among the three of us, and I feel like everybody that watches this has seen like 40 commercials for the next episode.
I don't care. Who cares? This is
Yeah.
about us. This is about us, Tom.
We have to get Min, right? 49 IMDb, she's in two.
I think so. Yeah. I think Min.
I think
I wrote the Amerlin sounds like she's pissed, but I wonder if we'll get them secretly being friends, and by them I mean Moraine and.
I think it's
and
weird
Amerlin.
that she wasn't at the tower.
Yeah.
Well, she's in Camelin.
I know.
Yeah.
I just think it was weird.
You know what that is? That's when she was eating out Lenny. Camelin.
John, I think I know.
First time you made that joke.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Aaron?
She's a squirter.
What is he eating? That's supposed to be
Mustard.
Why is it so light?
I don't
That's
know.
a good question.
It's mayonnaise and mustard mixed together, Tom. You know how come usually is. Anyway, Matt gets healed next episode? Yes or no?
I hope not. I'll be very fucking honest. I meant to say this earlier.
Or at least taken to the tower?
Hold on. The dagger so far has been the biggest non-fucking factor, other than a little bit of paranoia, don't fucking touch me, and a little bit of vomit. I feel like it's been bullshit. It has done nothing. It has not been like he's supposed to be over there grabbing it like this, just like slowly pulling it out of a sheath. That's not even a joke. Like that's supposed like that's the thing is like that's what Matt's supposed to be doing there.
It's been such a non-factor that we mention it occasionally or almost mention it in the non-spoiler part, and I realize we shouldn't because nobody knows what the fuck we're talking about.
That's why. Yeah. Oh, and here's to you, Joe.
I got a question for you guys. Do they have enough runway left to land this plane for season 1?
But they're going to crash into the jungle on Hydra Island, and don't worry about it because later on the smoke monster tries to blow it up. Turns out the C4 was there the whole time. Didn't need to blow it up. Then they circle back around to the submarine, go back over to the main island. That's where they find the heart of the island.
I'm just curious.
Joe, pull up that thing from earlier that you had just put, like one of the last comments.
One of the last quotes.
One of the last comments from the comment section.
Oh, the prediction? Yeah.
Yeah. So Keith's idea of Balsamon mentioning out of the world, again, assuming that we're onto something, I love that idea quite a bit. I love the idea of I am lost. Thank you, Drab. Or Dr. Ab is actually his real name.
He knows what I'm doing.
I like the idea of kind of bringing that in, and also we need to give Balsamon some sort of like bigger,
little bit more like a speaking role, like 2 seconds. Yeah. Okay.
And kind of having that reason. It's clear that we are going to use the ways in this season, and there's not very much.
Isn't there an episode called The Ways?
We're going to use.
No, I think the description of episode 7 says like on the ways they do this or discover something. Like I think
we could do an entire fucking show about all the bullshit naming they're doing.
Episode 7 is called The Dark Along the Ways.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what that's probably going to be? It's literally dark on their way to the bathroom. Like this was called Blood Called Blood. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
What it is it's clearly a commentary on what happens in the dark along the ways, and we all know you just jerk off the side of the platforms. No one. Perrin and Egwene's biggest mystery because I wrote Perrin and Egwene is the biggest mystery in terms of them getting to the tower. Like, their storyline has been the most changed almost because Moraine, there was no Moraine in the coin. Like, they didn't find them. Like, how are they getting into the tower? Is this going to be, do they find Rand first or do they go to the tower first? What do you guys think is going on with that plot further?
I don't know. I don't think 3 episodes is enough to finish up the track they've laid.
I mean, I'm leaning goes to the tower, but like,
I think they go to the tower.
They could easily end up with Rand and Matt first, though, by Taviran accident. And then Moraine's like, we gotta go, Nynaeve! And then they all leave.
Maybe they ride on.
I'm kind of thinking Matt and Rand and like Nynaeve and Matt and Rand and Perrin and Egwene never go to the tower. Like, I think Moraine and Lan and Nynaeve like leave the tower and grab them.
The tower and Tar Valon is two things. So did we shit appropriately on Moraine's
anymore?
Like on Moraine's, like I've got eyes and ears at every fucking gate. Did we really shit appropriately?
Yeah, we did.
I don't know if there's reason to do that.
She says it literally 30 seconds after the scene where they walk into the gates.
It's very bad.
I'll know immediately.
Very bad.
Shit had already happened. Her descriptions of them are getting down to the tower gates. If only they had pneumatic tubes.
If they walk in this door, I'll see them.
Everything about.
Do you think we're getting Waygate next episode? And then,
that's where I'm hoping. I think that's where he's going. I think Waygate's episode 7. I think episode 6 ends with us having to get into a Waygate.
That is a lot of stuff to pull together to have them go through the Waygate by the end of episodes.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just,
he's just guessing.
An important question. I'm just throwing out thoughts. I'm taking Tom's place for 5 questions and predictions of the next episode.
I want to thank the comment section. You guys are usually smarter than, at least than I am, and so I purposely don't look at you because I'm sure that there's.
Because you want to make something for a surprise.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, I feel like we get a reason to go into a Waygate in episode 6. Episode 7, we go through a Waygate and we kind of like get close to the Blight. Episode 8 is Blight and finish.
The Whispering Eye of the World.
I love that
so much. The Whispering Eye of the World. Yeah.
Okay. You put a pussy joke, I'm in. Ironically, because I've never.
I mean, that's the end. So that's tWoTcast for this week. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below, and in theory, we'll get better at responding to them.
Never turn it off.
I don't know. Oh shit! I already did. Wait, it's very difficult for me to turn that back on.
You can listen to
the audio version of the show wherever you get your podcasts. tWoTcast theme songs brought to you by the one and the only Taffy Bennington, but also Andrew Bar of Time. Links to their stuff is below. Join us next episode for more Wheel of Time, guys, covering our breakdown of episode 6, which I don't know what it's called, but it's episode 6 of the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Episode 3.
I'm Joe. Say goodnight, Jono.
Good night, Jono.
What's happening?
Say goodnight, Tom.
Say your math.
What
Keep the change of filthy animals.
Should we thank our?
Should we thank what? What's happening?
Our mustard sponsor, Boar's Head.
Oh my God.
Mustard.
Among the first to start, the tWoTcast was so smart to lovingly bash our favorite books. But that was long ago, and now they've grown the show, and now they got us in their hooks. Don't throw coins to these bastards, they need bars of gold at least. Someone please keep them afloat. Now let's listen as they once again ramble through a book. Let's get the fucking quote. One of them is Tom, but he is barely on. Sometimes he calls into the show. Another other one is Joe? No. Is he their joker? Oh no. And Joe, is he the stupid one? Welcome to the tWoTcast. We will share our love for books and all our hate in every episode. We'll entertain you, make you laugh so hard you barely can stand up. That is the tWoTcast code.